Hi there. Thank you for joining me. I'm really happy to have you here because today I want to talk about Ready, Set, Certified, how the CCMP can change your career. I think this is a really important topic, and I'm so happy to be together today to really talk about the CCMP and how this certification can give your career a head start, a boost that you've been needing, and that you are probably ready for if you're tuning in to this point in time. So let's just start talking a little bit about what the Certified Change Management Professional certification is and why it's so important for change professionals. The Certified Change Management Professional designation or certification um, has only been around for 9 years. It actually, the first year was in 2016. Here we are in 2025. And so it's almost a decade old, but it's so become so incredibly popular and important in that period of time. And I'll kind of break it down as to why it's so important and why it's the best certification to really choose if you are a change management professional, and also some of the impacts that it can have on your career. And then we'll talk about some questions related to the CCMP. But I'll begin by talking about the Association of Change Management Professionals. So it is ACMP, Association of Change Management Professionals, global.org. If you're looking to go online and check out ACMP. The Association of Change Management Professionals first started in 2011, and it was based on a group of individuals who were change management professionals and looking for an association or a group that would really be their home. Because previously, change management professionals, many of us would join ATD, the Association of Talent Development. Some of us would join SHRM for the Society of Human Resource Management. Many change management professionals were coming from PMI, Project Management Institute. And yet there wasn't a place that was just for change management professionals. And so ACMP changed that in 2011 when they were founded. And one of the first activities that had to happen when you found an organization, when you start an organization like ACMP, is the fact that you need to have a standard. You need to have a standard of the work, the standard of change management. The standard for change management is that standard for ACMP. It is a document, and I have kind of I apologize, a little bit of a beat up copy here, but it is one of those things that you must have because you are trying to establish how the work is done. And so there are all sorts of standards in many professions. There's a coaching standard, there is a training standard, there's a project management standard that's called the PMBOK, which is enormous, very detailed. And so recognizing that the standard had to be put in place, ACMP convened a group. It was called the Standard Working Group, very original. And it was 28 people who were coming together from all walks of life as change management professionals to work on the standard. And I was part of that group. So I worked on the original standard that came out in 2014 was when it was published. And so we had the standard in place. And then the organization got to work on creating a certification that would be based on that standard. So that is the Certified Change Management Professional, CCMP certification. And the reason that you should choose the CCMP over all other change management certifications really goes back to that standard and the fact that ACMP is neutral. It's a neutral ground. It's not a vendor. ACMP doesn't create any of their own training and sell their own training. They are an association which has members, and the members pay for the association, and the members have benefits from the association, like access to the library, access to conferences, and we also have access to a Change Connect system where you can ask a question in real time, and people from all over the world, experts from all over the world, reply to your question. There's a lot of benefits to membership, but the big piece is the fact that it is neutral. So the reason that it's so the reason that the CCMP is the desired certification is because of this neutrality, because it's coming from an association that is focused completely on growing and supporting the profession of change management. It's not coming from anybody who is, earning their living by providing services such as training or consulting or coaching. It is completely in support of the profession. And so I think that makes a big difference because, I had to take some training for my certification. And I'll get into the criteria of the certification. But one of the pieces of one of the criteria of the CCMP certification is that you have to have fresh training. Your training that qualifies you to take the exam, because you have to qualify to take the exam. The training that qualifies you to take the exam has to be within the past 7 years. Now, I had been in change management quite a while when I joined the association, and I had not had training in the past 7 years, in the year 2016. And so you can do the math, but it had been a while since I'd had some fresh training. So I went to a very well-known training vendor. I enjoyed their training. I took their training. It was 21 hours of qualified education provider training, which is what you have to have in order to qualify to take the CCMP. So I took my 21 hours of training and I got a certificate at the end of that training. I remember there being a quiz. I think it was 10 or 15 questions. And at the end of the quiz, I received a certificate for attending the training and completing the quiz. And I was thrilled with this certification. Well, it was a certificate of completion, not a true certification. A true certification is offered by an independent body, like an association. And an independent body, such as ACMP, can offer the certification, and generally it has to meet ISO standards, which is something that we talk about in manufacturing and in other areas where we want to ensure quality. And so there's this level of rigor and level of quality from the actual CCMP certification that doesn't exist coming from vendor certificate of completion certification. So that's why you should choose ACMP and the CCMP as your certification. I have to tell you, there are also some other organizations in the world. There's the Change Management Institute, and it was started primarily in the United Kingdom. And I really enjoy the folks in that group, in that institute group, and they do have a certification as well. And I don't have any issue with their certification because they're an independent organization providing a standard and providing certification based on that standard through application, qualification, and exam, a rigorous exam. So I think that when you're looking at, is this certification, if maybe Joe Schmo says, come to my, OCM certification course, and it's 21 hours, and we'll give you a certification. You will get 24 hours or 21 hours of training, and you'll receive a certificate of completion but that's not the same thing as an independent certification. And that's what I offer in my training, right? You come to our training, Ready, Set, Change training, and you'll have 21 hours of qualified education provider training, the finest training around. But we will also give you a certificate of completion, but that's not a certification. So just to make sure we're clear on that. There's a real growing demand for change management professionals. As you can see in the world, everything is changing quickly. I mean, it used to be that you could work on a large project like an ERP project or maybe some sort of software implementation, and you could work on that project for a number of years, and the organization would be absorbing the changes as they're rolled out. But now it feels as though there are so many changes happening so quickly that there's not the same kind of time to absorb change that there used to be. It's as though while we're in the midst of changing for something, another project and another project and another change, and no, now we're completely changing directions is happening in a really rapid way. So I think that there's a growing demand for change management professionals. I see it when I try to log into my LinkedIn, and I get a lot of opportunities sent to my inbox, and they're all saying, oh, you would be perfect for this job, which I truly feel so fortunate to be in that position. But I actually already have a job. And so I am unable to take LinkedIn up on their recommendations. But I think that the growing demand is out there. We have seen it. There's this recognition, I think, in corporate America that just because I tell you to change doesn't mean that you can. It doesn't mean that you can that it can happen quickly, and it doesn't mean that you can do it just with your own willpower. There needs to be support. You need training, communication, engagement, development. There are a lot of pieces that have to support people who are going through change for them to fully adopt the change and be successful. And a change is not successful if you get half the people to adopt the change and the other half refuse, and you have to stop. So it's very critical that you think about your career as a change management professional. You may be thinking, well, I don't want to spend the hours that it will take to go through training and to prepare for and pass the exam. And I get it. I mean, there are years that I think, oh, not this year. I'm not going to do that right this minute. But I think you have to recognize that certified change management professionals are what's going to be desired. Not anybody who can hang out their shingle, but people who have actually met that certification. And now I have to tell you that there's a new certification on the horizon from ACMP. It's called Master Change Management Professional. So it's MCMP. And the MCMP beta group is starting in May. And so that group will soon be having their first certificates coming through, probably by September of next year, or maybe even August. You'll start to hear of some MCMPs. And yes, I am going to pursue my MCMP. I will be one of those who goes immediately to work on earning that MCMP. So if you haven't earned the CCMP yet, it's time for you, because you cannot start the MCMP without being a CCMP. So let's talk just a little bit about the impact this can have on your career. There's a couple of benefits immediately from pursuing the CCMP and how it can impact your career. Number one is really this understanding that when you either have completed your 21 hours of training. Many of us have to take training to earn the CCMP. Uh, when you do that training, you're learning at a time when you're actually fully engaged in your career already. You're already in your profession, and that is the best time to learn. We know adults learn by doing. That's one of the theories of adult learning. So when you are able to pursue education, your change management 21 hours of required training during the time that you are also working in your profession, you're able to instantly try things out or understand some of the corporate politics slightly in a different way, or maybe even get some ideas of how to engage a reluctant sponsor in becoming a very active and visible change leader. So, having that training while you're engaged in your profession can really impact your career because you're open to all sorts of ideas and you have a lab at your disposal when you're looking at your current role. And I think also another piece is the fact that when you are pursuing a certification, you tell other people you're pursuing a certification, and it really shows initiative and it shows that you have sort of a future vision for yourself, that you're not just satisfied with the status quo, that you actually want to improve your skills and want to earn something. I think there's also an impact on your career by studying the standard, because when you have to prepare for the CCMP, you spend a lot of time with the standard for change management. And even though I feel like the standard for change management can be difficult to just sit down and, have some pleasure reading with, there are so many illuminating concepts and ideas in it that reading the standards sometimes just gives you great insight into anything you're dealing with, or even insight into a past project where you think, this is what was going on. Now I understand. And so that preparation phase, that time when you're really heads down working through the standard and getting yourself ready to take that exam, you're you're just at top form as a change professional in that way. So I think that that can have a dramatic impact on your career. And then, of course, when you earn the CCMP, uh, we just think that having the ability to tell others in your organization, um, really, we always post and congratulate about our CCMP um, candidates who earn their CCMP, our certificates. We're always thrilled to support them and share on LinkedIn how well they've done and how proud we are of their progress. And that's great for your organization to see. So there's a lot of you can also put your Credly badge that is a CCMP in your email, and everybody can see that you're a certified change management professional. So I think that that is those are some of the really immediate impacts I can see on your career. But I also think there's something even beyond that, and that is the understanding that there are leaders in your organization who are pursuing certification of their own, not necessarily change management certification, but other types of certification, and they really respect somebody who is going after a certification and accomplishing that. That is something that they can relate to, something they see, and something that's very, very important in their perception of you as a change leader in the organization. So let's talk a little bit about the requirements. I've touched on them a little bit, and I just want to make sure you really know that you're ready to start down this path of earning your CCMP. So I think of the CCMP as something that I don't want you to force yourself into. I think it's something that you come to because you've been practicing as a change professional for a year or 2 years or 10 years, and that is your profession. I think there's sometimes a little bit of a certification race for people to pick up a number of different certifications. I think the CCMP is it's such an important certification that it really warrants a thoughtful decision about whether or not you're at that point in your career, kind of early to mid career, when you are ready to move forward in that way. So the requirements that you need to have is that when you're filling out the application, so there's a couple of different parts. One is you have to be able to show experience, and so there's many different ways to show your change management experience, and not everybody who has change management experience has been called a change manager or change management lead. Sometimes it's called process improvement. Sometimes it's called, somebody who's worked in business process redesign. Maybe it's a project manager who has been focused on the people side of change and has been leading the training and the development. There are many different ways that you can gain change management experience. But what I want to make sure you understand is there's two pieces. When you are ready to apply for the CCMP, you have to make sure that you've had your 21 hours of certified change management professional training. And so you can either take your training from a qualified education provider, which is what ACMP calls those training providers who have met their criteria to offer courses. And you can go to the ACMP Global website and look at the QEP registry and look at all of the different vendors. I think at this point, there's about 60 different trainings. Maybe you've taken a course. I know Cornell has a course, has a degree in change management, and maybe you've done something like that. For that type of training, you just need to submit your training to ACMP to see if that 21 hours will be approved for you. And it's not a difficult process. You can easily submit that to them, and they will let you know if that meets their criteria for 21 hours of change management training. So having your training is a big deal, making sure that's completed. Second thing we want to make sure you have is experience, that you've had at least 3 or 4 years of experience in change management work. If you have more, if you have 20 years, totally fine. If you've got 1 year, I would say hang on. Don't start your certification journey just yet. Get some more experience. Make sure this is the place for you. Make sure that you are ready. But ensuring that you have this level of experience. And then also, you have to be able to answer 3 essay questions. Now, the CCMP exam application will offer 5 prompts for essays for you to complete essay questions. You only have to complete 3 of the 5 prompts. So you can choose which 3 you want to write an essay about. And these essays are approximately 500 words, and they are to answer the prompt. So when you're filling out the application, and you can go to acmpglobal.org and click on certification, and you'll see apply for the CCMP. When you start your application, you'll see the list of requirements, and they will ask you for your personal information and then education. So you need to have either a 2-year post high school degree of some sort, either an associate's degree or some sort of post degree, or a 4-year degree or an advanced degree. Now, I always want to make sure people put their 4-year degree in, like a bachelor's degree, in first, because when you have a degree that has taken at least 4 years to acquire, you are automatically the number hours of experience moves to 4,200 hours of change management experience, approximately 3 years full time. If you don't have, or if you put your 2-year degree, like a master's degree in first, and you don't put your 4-year degree in first, then it will say that you need 5,600 hours of experience, which is approximately 5 years. So it changes the amount of experience you need based on the education that you've input in for the application. And you have to be able to provide a transcript if asked, because sometimes they do audit people. We've had a number of students audited, and it's not the end of the world, but you do have to provide proof of your degree and where you've worked, and supervisors' names and such if you are applying. So once you've been able to put in your education, then you put in employment. So this is where we're showing the 4,200 hours um, of education, of experience, or the 5,600 hours of experience. And then after that, you're putting in your essay prompts. The essays, uh, I generally have people write the essays in advance in Word document, and we kind of, can that way really shape the essay the way it needs to be pulled together, so that you're not running into the 500 word limit in those little boxes you have to type in. It's better just to do it in Word and paste it into the boxes. And then you put in your 21 hours of training, click a statement of understanding, and then pay the fee to take the exam. If you're a member, you have a discount to take the exam. If you're not a member, I would suggest you join, because the membership pretty much pays for itself with the discount. And then you are able to be reviewed by the CCMP committee. And if approved, you can schedule your exam, and you can take the exam at home in a proctored environment, or you can go to a testing center. And most of our students prefer the testing center. But this is all, if it feels like a lot, it's because there is a lot to it, and it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth the time and the effort to be able to really propel your career, and to really kind of rise to the top of your profession as somebody who has taken the time and put in the work to become a certified change management professional. So we do have a Ready Set CCMP community. And if you are interested in joining our community, it opened today, April 1st, and it will close on April 8th. And please feel free to join us. It's only $49 a quarter, which is pretty inexpensive. And what you'll be able to do in our community is talk to all the other folks who are getting ready for their CCMP. You can come to our study sessions. You can determine whether you're going to take your exam at home or take your exam proctored at a testing center. There are a lot of different pieces. We can help you with your application. So if you're interested in starting this journey, please take a look at our Ready Set CCMP community, which is open until April 8th. As I said, we only open it once a quarter, and you can join in the first week of the quarter, and then it's closed until the next quarter. So this is it until July. So if you're interested in pursuing this certification, I would highly recommend joining our Ready Set CCMP community. You can go to springboard-consult.com to check that out, to be able to join our community. And also, if you want to email me or reach out to me somehow on LinkedIn, I'm happy to answer questions or help you and get you started on your journey to earning your CCMP, because it can truly change not only your career, but really your life. So hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.